Hello everybody and welcome to our first world tour of the 5,000 days. I'm going to go through this kind of slowly. This is going to be a very talky, chatty world tour episode because I don't even know. We might break this up into several parts. And I just want to kind of go through and talk about the world. Now I'm in a backup right now of the world, which is actually going to be a backup that you can get. Down below, there's going to be a link for a Java world download. And if I can work it out, a Bedrock download as well. So, if you're a Bedrock player and you've always wanted to see this world, I use the vanilla resource pack. The only thing I change is these glass textures, and that's not going to change you all that much. The only thing I use glass textures, the bushy leaves, and I don't know, like two other little things. Not a big deal. So you can see this in the vanilla texture pack, no problem. But we're going to take a world tour. We're going to go in sort of chronological order of this first 5,000 days in this world, just sort of talking about it. So, when we first started, the very first build that I did in this world, now this world started as a hardcore world. I did 2,300-day episodes in a row in hardcore mode, and then I just realized that I just wasn't having that much fun with the hardcore, and I missed my survival roots. That's sort of where I started as a survival player. So I converted the world to survival, started with a new survival episode 1, and now we're around episode 35. So, in a way of thinking, we're around episode 50, 55, somewhere around there. And, this is the world. Now, if you're wondering, I've died twice. I've died twice in this world after I converted it into a survival world. And both times, one time was AFK, which you would never do in hardcore. I sort of got a little lax since it was a survival world. I had once AFK, I was mining concrete and I just drowned because I broke through the ground and I died in water. And then the other time I was fighting the dragon and I popped a totem. And in a hardcore world, what I would have done is gone back and gotten a new totem. But I thought, I can probably beat him. And if I don't, whatever. So, I have some regrets about those two deaths because it would be nice to still not have a death. And they were both really just not caring. So, whatever. Regardless, I've died twice in this world. Not a big deal. But I didn't die, of course, in hardcore mode. That would be terrible. So, here's where I started. I started with the storage building, and I thought the storage building was going to be big enough forever and ever and ever and ever. And the way I did it was I came up with this system. I thought, oh, this will be cool. I'll just use hoppers, and I'll put all my stuff in here, and then it'll get transferred down, all that stuff. In fact, I should actually get rid of all of my shulkers right here, because it would when y'all get the world download, you might want them. So I'll put them right there in that chest. Okay, you got it? So, I'm already out of space. If you drop down here, I had to make this sort of expansion down here to get more stone. It's completely filled. So, yeah, I'm going to need to work on this storage at some point in New Hope, but New Hope is pretty close to done. And what I've generally done is I've done a new storage building in each sort of kingdom that I build in and then just move my stuff around. So if you look at these buildings, what I started doing back when I was doing this at first is I was building houses for each supporter. So there's like Alicia's house and I decided what I was going to do is I was going to do bottom floor interiors, not top floor. So all the top floors are empty, but all the bottom floors I think are pretty close to done in New Hope, and they're not. I'm not doing the greatest interiors they've ever done. It's not really my jam, but there's something. You walk in, you're like, okay, cool. There's a little home there. That's for who? Big D. Yep. And then I did this video idea where I thought my wife and kids, boy, life has changed since I started this series. My wife and kids were gone for a weekend, and I didn't have a gig one night. So I thought, hey, you know what I could do? I should do 24 hours of Minecraft where I play for absolutely 24 hours straight and build. And one of the things I built was this house right here. This is my 24-hour build. It turned out okay. There's actually an interior in this one too. It turned out okay. Cameron Smith's house over here. And I did like an ink farm and a few other farms and stuff. But if you walk through New Hope, it's interesting. There's a little blacksmith over there. It's okay. I think the atmosphere here is pretty nice. I think it has a good feel when you walk through it here. I did a school. Let's see what's in the school. I haven't checked this out in really a long time. I really like this bridge. Little bridge going over this little pond. I think it's pretty darn nice. Oh yeah, look, check it out. A school library where kids could sit down. Because if you don't know what the story is of this world, well, this man, Steve Tepic, used to be an astronaut for in a whole different solar system, really far away. And what happened was a mage, in an effort to save the people of this ship, teleported everyone. He couldn't teleport them all to the same place. It was like a dispersion spell. So they all got dispersed to random planets throughout the entire world. And Steve Tappick, our hero, this dude. Oh no, that's my Realm of Aston skin. Anyway, Steve Tappick, our hero of this story, got put down here, and he didn't know anything about it. He was like, oh, I'm on a random planet. What am I going to do? Well, the story developed, and there's this evil AI named Cal, who is intent on wiping out the entire world. Steve Tappick, luckily on this world, due to some future shenanigans, has found out that exactly 10,000 days from the time that he set foot on this world, Cal is coming with his space armada fleet of spaceships to destroy this entire world. So Steve Tappick has 10,000 days to get these people from this medieval sort of technology level to a future-bearing technology capable of defeating Cal and his evil AI armada of spaceships. So one of the things that we've really worked on is the education aspect. And, we tried to build several different schools, and this school is part of it. So rather than just have the kids toil in the fields working just to feed everybody like they did before Steve Tappick got here, he started, no, we have to educate the kids, and we have to start moving them quickly. 10,000 days is something like 35 years or something along those lines, I believe, right? So he has basically one generation to get these people from this up into like a space technology. Now, luckily, he has the help of an AI from his ship named Tracy, who is able to teach because she has a lot of knowledge. So they don't have to come up with everything themselves, but still, it's a long haul. One of the next things I did in this world is I started a little villager trading hub. Now, this is one of the silliest things I ever did, because it was a hardcore world, and at that point, I intended this to always be forevermore a hardcore world. So I got these guys where I'm like, oh, cool, now I get all the feather falling boots. Or books, and feather falling boots, books. And got all these silk touch, but it was a hardcore world. So if I die and I lose all my gear, well, then that's the end of the world. So I don't know why I made this big... The one thing you don't need in a hardcore world is a giant villager trading thing for books. I mean, maybe gear if you're intending on breaking your gear frequently and stuff, but I don't even think so. So this has turned out to be a nice idea, because when I convert to survival, of course, there is a chance I could lose all my stuff. Now, I haven't yet, but I could. This used to be my nether portal here, but it got... I got to expand that at some point. So I moved it, but there's also this thing that I bet a bunch of you don't know about. This is my first creeper farm. So after I got my elytra, which I fought the dragon very early, you can see it's not a great creeper farm. I haven't checked this in probably over a year of real life. I think it's been a really long time, and you can see it's not even full. I heard the cat. I don't know why it's not functioning. There's an AFK spot that's... here, let me show you the AFK spot. There's a balloon that's supposed to be your AFK spot up in the sky, and I have not sat up there in a really, really long time, so maybe that's why. I don't know. I have a much, much better mob farm now somewhere else. But yeah, I like this kingdom because there's a lot of cool little alleyways. I mean, you could easily get lost in this kingdom just sort of going around to all these different spots. There is a church, and this church, I had a whole storyline planned in this church, and I still may do it, so I don't want to tell you too much about it, because I want you to sort of experience if I do it, but there is a nefarious thing that's going on in this church. So, I forgot I did the interior. This is a nice little interior. I see people sitting here on these benches watching the, it's pretty cool. This is actually nicer than I thought. Okay, so I had a church, and I had a whole storyline, like I say. So I may get to that storyline later on here. But some other things that we did. Let's see. So I got to a point where I was kind of done with New Hope mentally, right? I was kind of like, yeah, I think I'm kind of done with this kingdom. I would not mind moving on to a different kingdom. And plus, I was doing at that point, I was really intent on doing 1,000-day blocks, and I'm still doing that to a point, but a little bit lesser focus on it now. But I thought, well, I'm going to spend the first 1,000 days building this, then the next 1,000 days I want to move on. I was kind of up against it. So what I did was I came in, I built about 25 houses, all the same style, this very basic, 1 or 2 story house style, all in one episode, where I just churned them out. I'm sure there's no interior in these. Yeah, there's not even a floor. I just did these really quickly just to get this entire house this entire village, I guess it's a town, all kind of worked out. I did do gates. There's 1, 2, 3. There's actually 4 gates, but one of them I don't think is done. Let me pop up here in free cam and check. Yeah, this gate over here is not done yet. So we still need to at some point come in and do this gate. It sort of just stops and goes off. So let me sleep and then we'll take another look around town. Some other stuff of note here. This is fun to take some time. Usually doing world tours, I just go so fast because there's so much to show in this world that I just skip so much stuff. And I think 5,000 days, given that it's the midpoint of the season, this entire world is intended to go for 10,000 days. And I get the question pretty frequently, oh, what's going to happen after that? Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll talk about all the lore in the future world tour episode too. So this is the iron farm I did, the first little tiny iron farm I did. It's actually still working fine. I still take iron out of this pretty frequently. So that's working great. A couple villagers up there. I actually had some real trouble getting those villagers. They despawned several times, and I don't know why even still, but these ones seem to have stuck. So I got them in there. And another thing that we did was touching loosely on that church storyline I talked about. The people who had been living here used to fight for sport. That was their thing. They used to fight, and people would get injured all the time. And these are like the workers that I require. There was a conflict with something called the Fist of the Dragon organization. And it turns out that maybe they weren't such bad guys in the lore of this world, but that for a while there was conflict. I really needed all able-bodied people. So I introduced the game of soccer to them. Now here's the deal. Steve Tepic, our hero, isn't from a medieval society. He's from a futurist society, so he knows sports and stuff like that. And he thought, well, I could build a soccer stadium for these guys and get them to play that instead of fighting and hurting each other all the time. So I built a soccer stadium. I just thought that the sort of juxtaposition of having like a more semi-modern soccer stadium within a medieval context could be kind of a cool idea. So I built this little thing, and I think it actually worked out really, really well. I still really like it. I still really like how it's like this modern idea or modern concept within a medieval city. Whatever. I think it's cool. Over here, I have something else I did whenever the wild update came out. I got some frogs because I was all about the frog lights. That's what it's called, frog lights. And I didn't, you don't use them here. You have to use them near magmas. But I thought, well, if I'm going to do the frog thing, why don't we get the frogs over here? There's one. I used to have all 3 colors in here. I think that they have escaped or died or something like that. It looks like I only got a couple of these, but I have a couple of the different ones put away in a safe place, and I do have a frog farm, and we'll get to that whenever we get to the Nether World Tour episode. But the little frog sanctuary within my medieval city, I think it looks really, really, really cool. Let's head up here to the top of the balloon and just check out the entire overview of the city. Now, we're going to be getting to things like over there, Frostmire Castle, and this little farming hamlet. And in fact, actually, I should say, this little farming area right here is the one area of this world that does not have a name. So if you want to name it, it's just a hamlet, but it's outside the gate, so I wanted to have its own name. It heads towards the ancient city. If you want to name this, have at it. I'd love to have a name there. I will pick a name from the comments down below, okay? So you get to name and have a little piece of this world. Down there, we have... Oh, that's actually my villager breeder. I wonder if those guys are still alive. We should go check. That's going to be my nether portal. I gotta work on that still. I don't know exactly... Oh, yeah, the nether portal is supposed to be... Shards of the moon, I think, in the lore. I think that was the original idea. The moon exploded, and again, we'll talk about that later on. These guys still alive? Oh, they are. Look at that. They're still breeding away. Still breeding. Nice job, fellas. Still getting it done. There's another portal up there because I decided that I wanted to transport them through the nether just to make things a little bit easier. But yeah, so the nether portals are shards of the moon that when the moon broke, they crashed down here, and they had some sort of properties that allowed, nether. And the nether itself is something I haven't really decided how I want to exactly handle it yet. So that's going to be down the road. I really, really dislike my current nether, actually. It like Minecraft nether. I really hate it. This is my first garrison. I needed guards to defend against the zombie horde, so I built this thing as a training grounds for guards to learn how to fight, because I get that they were like farmers and stuff. So I built this so they could start to learn how to actually fight each other and all that. Yeah, again, it's a fairly simple time. You can tell when I'm in certain areas, like this area over here. You can tell that I did this where I built 20 some houses all around the same time. But this gatehouse turned out really nicely. It's very simple little gatehouse. I think it's nice. I really like these semi-open door thing. I did that a couple different times in this area. Up there's another balloon. That's for my ink farm. Yeah, that's for my ink farm up there. The ink farm is right now is just in the ground. It's one of the few farms or anything that I have that's not sort of hidden. It's not or not hidden. I don't mean hidden underground. I mean hidden in a build, within a build. This is one of the few. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for the ink farm there. But yeah, name this hamlet. There's only one house now, but this is gonna expand because up that direction is gonna be what we work on post 5,000 days. That's my supporter kingdom, and I imported my supporter survival kingdom into this world, and I'm gonna be overhauling it over the course of the next 1,000 days. So I think you can sort of enjoy me giving my take on what my beautiful supporters did on the supporter kingdom, where they did a really cool kingdom, and I'm just going to I'm going to fixify it. I'm going to kind of make it fit my build style, my style of how I like things to go together. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Regardless, though, I think we're going to wrap up this tour of New Hope here today. We're going to come back in a couple days with another world tour and just keep on doing this over and over and over until we see every single kingdom in this entire world. It's nice to spend some real time slowly walking around, look, some of these builds are really cool. Just checking out the whole place, I love this world. I love the atmosphere of the world, and I really think it's quite an achievement to make it 5,000 days in this. Okay? We'll see you all next time. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you for the next part of the world tour. Bye.